Welcome back. This is the part 3 of the new series on scoring 25 marks in the elementary logic for first year BA LLB students as per Mumbai University syllabus. In this video, we'll look at specifically how to solve using quantifiers, and we have to symbolize these general propositions. Let's look at the question paper first. So they will give us this is a part of question number 3 B2. Okay, they'll tell us to identify and symbolize the following general propositions. They'll also give us this format. Okay, how do we solve this? We'll look at it in this video. So before we start, let us look at some of the notations. This means for all x, for every x. This symbol means there exists an x. This you have to remember. Okay, there exists an x for all x. These things you have to remember. Of course, you know that this means negation, this sign. This sign denotes conjunction. It is also known as and. This sign denotes disjunction or symbol or. Okay, it is or also. Now, let us look at questions which have come in the past papers. First, they will give us a statement. A few actors are successful. Means a few means some. Some actors are successful. Some means there exists an x. There is at least one. Few actors means there is at least few are there which are successful. So it will go in existential quantifier. So how do we notify this? We'll look at it one sum first. Okay, this implies the existence of some actors who are successful but not necessarily all. So this is expressed as this way. Okay, now in the exam paper they will give us this notations, comma sx. Okay, ax comma sx. Ax, so we have to write where ax denotes, first we can write this, let ax denote x is an actor, and let sx denote x is successful. We have to again write it in affirmative. Okay, even if it's given in negative, a few actors, for example, are not successful. If the question was, first let's complete this and then we'll go on to the next one of the same thing. Okay, so this is how you symbolize it. There exists, how do you read this? You can see it from here. There exists an x. This itself means there exists an x such that x is an actor and x are successful. Okay, x is an actor and x is successful. That's it. We're done for this. Also will come for 3 marks, 1 for each. It's as simple as this. You have to only symbolize it and quantify it. So quantifier, this is the quantifier, ex. Okay, next we'll look at the next sum. They'll give dx for diamond, and for precious stone they may give ps, for example, px. Okay, or sx, or whatever they give, we have to take that. So we have to state, let dx be diamond, let px be precious stone. Therefore, every. First, you have to note. First, you have to understand whether this quantifier is a universal quantifier. I'll say AX, for example, a mirrored AX, or is it an existential quantifier, EX? So first we have to determine that whether it's an AX or an EX. Okay, so we know every means all. So this will be represented by AX or mirrored AX. I'll say mirrored AX. Okay, so for all X, if X is a diamond, so you have to write dx is a diamond, px is a precious stone. Okay, px is a precious stone. So, and we know every means universal. So this is how you this is how you symbolize it, where for all x, x is a diamond. So sorry, we don't have, we'll have to use a quantifier. We'll have to use a symbol also. So whenever we have a, so this is a standard format, but let's look at it this way. Okay, so what you have to do is dx, px will remain. But now what do we use here in between? We use the directional arrow or conditional arrow or if then or implies. It's all are one word only. They all imply, they only all mean the same thing. So whenever we have universal quantifier, we have to use the implies sign, the arrow. So this is all that we need to do. Okay, so this implies dx and px, where dx denotes x is a diamond, px denotes x is a precious stone. All right, next, most Indians believe in rebirth. Most means not all. Most is not all. So this is existential quantifier. I've also not solved these sums. I'm just doing it right now on the go. So I may be wrong also. Let's see how correct I am, because I'm also learning along with you all. Most Indians believe in rebirth. So most is this. Indians so they'll give Ix. In the exam paper they may give Ix and Bx. So let Ix is Indian, Bx, excuse me for the handwriting, I'm not able to write properly with the mouse, I'm trying my best, is Bx is believes in rebirth. Okay, believes in rebirth. Ix is Indian, or Bx believes in rebirth. Okay, believes in rebirth. Now, how do we symbolize this? Since we know that this is an Ex, okay, so Ix, and whenever we have existential quantifier, we'll use the conjunction symbol Ix Bx. Okay, let's see how correct the answer is. Okay, so this is correct. Ix and Bx. Now let's see how they have stated about the let one. Ix denotes X is an Indian, Bx denotes X believes in rebirth. So what we have missed here is X is an Indian. X believes in rebirth. Similarly, above also, X is a diamond. X is a precious stone. Okay, and above that, was there anything else? No. Okay, so X is an actor. X is successful. So you have to write that. Let's go on to the next question. No athletes are bookworm. No means all. So it's a universal quantifier. Okay, no, universal quantifier. Athletes would be AX and bookworms will be BX. So basically what it means is athletes are not bookworms. Here it says athletes are bookworms, but then they're saying the question states no athletes are bookworm, which means ultimately athletes are not bookworms. So we'll have to use the negation here, not bookworms. So when we are writing, symbolizing it, so for all X, X is an athlete. X is an athlete, which means X is a bookworm, right? But then they're saying they're not bookworms, so not bookworms. Okay. So when we first wrote down below where we said X is a bookworm, which is against this sentence. So therefore we have to negate this, that X is not a bookworm. Alright, let's go to the next sum. Next question. Not every applicant is not gold. This is quite a complicated one. Is not gold. Okay, so they will give us applicant AX and GX. Okay, now they are saying not every applicant is not gold, which translates to what? Means every applicant is gold. Does it mean it is a universal quantifier? Okay, so not every applicant is not gold. So we have this. So now we do know, as in previous one, athletes are not bookworms. No athletes are bookworms means athletes are not bookworms. Similarly, applicant is not gold. So we have to negate the gold part. So we can just write this first and GX, and we have to negate this first. Now we have to determine two more things. What symbol to use here and which quantifier to use here. Okay, whether to use universal or existential. Now we know not every means at least some applicant is gold. When you say not every applicant is not gold, means some applicant is gold. This is what it ultimately means. So when you say some, it means it is existential quantifier. Okay, so existential quantifier, and then with existential we have to use the implication or and symbol. Which one do we use for the existential? We use the and symbol. We use the conjunction symbol. Okay, and let's see. Okay, so for there exists an X such that X is an applicant, X is applicant, and X is gold. So here X is not gold. Okay, so this is what the exact statement in symbol format means. Alright, let's go into the next one. All that glitters is not gold. So they will give you that glitters. So they may give you GL, X glitters, and GOX for gold. Or they may give you another symbol also. Whatever symbol they give, it doesn't matter. You have to just use that. So first thing we do is we write down. In my case, I'm just putting GLX. and GOX. Okay, now we know it's not gold. So first we negate it. Then we just have to determine what symbol to use here and what quantifier to use. All that glitters. All means universal quantifier. Okay, so all that glitters, and with the universal quantifier we use the implication. So let's see whether answer is correct. So GX and AX. So they have used for gold, they have used AX. It doesn't matter. Whatever they give you, we can write that. So GLX implies it is not gold. So how do we write it? Where GX denotes X glitters, AX denotes X is gold. As I told you every time, you have to write it in affirmative, positive manner. Okay, next question. Nothing is changeless. Nothing is changeless. So they'll give us CX because there is nothing else here. CX, which means nothing means it's a universal quantifier. So nothing is changeless. So does this means no things there for all x is changeless. For all x is changeless. But here saying nothing. So we have to negate this. Right? Because it's if you read it without the negation, what it means is for all x is changeless. Okay, but here saying nothing is changeless, so they are not matching. The sentence is not matching with the symbol. So now if you read again, for all x is not changeless. Nothing is not changeless. Negating, non-changeless. Okay. We'll go on to the next one. Mangoes are rarely sour. So they may give MX and sour SX. Okay. So rarely. So if you have to put it in a correct sense, we say rarely, sometimes. Okay. So it will be existential quantifier. Now we need to determine the relation and whether negation has to be put. Okay. Means there exists a mango which is sour. It will be more clear if we first type out where MX X is a mango and SX is X is rarely sour. Okay, X is rarely sour. Now, if you have to quantify this, excuse me, X is a mango, X is rarely sour. So we know that for existential quantifier, we have to use the AND symbol, conjunction symbol, right? And for the universal quantifier, we have to use the implies sign. Now, let's read this. There exists at least one X such that if X is a mango and X is sour, X is rarely sour. So it is matching perfectly. So let's see. Okay, and let's see where MX denotes X is a mango and SX denotes X is sour, is rarely sour. Okay, so it's matching. So this we can go ahead. Not every human is difficult. So they will give you hx and dx. Not every human is difficult. Okay, so first we put hx dx at its place. Then determine whether what quantifier to use. Not every human is difficult. So let's first type out the actual statement where hx denotes x denotes where x is a human. X is a human and dx x is difficult. Okay. X is human, X is difficult. Now, not every human is difficult means some humans is not difficult. Does it mean the same thing? Let's read it out here. Let's put some humans. When we use the existential quantifier, we have to use the and symbol. Let's read this now. There exists at least one X such that X is a human and X is difficult. But here they are saying every human is not difficult. This is what it means. So let's see if the answer is correct. Yes. So this is how you have to understand that whether your symbolization is working with what the statement is. So a trial and error will help you out with this. You'll have to practice quite a few sums, few questions with this, and writing this will really help you to understand what that statement says. Now let's go on to the next one. A few women are emotional. So they'll give you WX and EX. So we write it again, WX and EX in the bracket, and then determine what symbol to use and what quantifier to use. A few means some. This is very simple. Some means existential. And when we use existential quantifiers, we are using conjunction symbol along with it. Okay. So now let's read this and see whether it is matching with this sentence. There exists at least one X such that if X is a woman, then X is emotional. So few women are emotional. So it is matching. So let's see if it is matching, our answers are matching or not. Correct. So this is how you do it. X is a woman, X is emotional. Now let's go to the next one. All animals are rational. So it's better we type it out first, where AX, X is animal, RX, X is rational. Okay. So once you write this, it becomes much easier to convert it. So now they will give you AX and RX in the bracket in the question paper. What we have to do is first write it down as it is, AX and RX, and then determine what symbol to use here, what connective we have to use here, and what quantifier. So all, again, it becomes very simple. When they say all, it is universal quantifier. Okay, so universal quantifier. And now let's read. Once we use the universal quantifier, we have to use the implication sign, conditional sign. So now let's read and see if it is matching with this. For all X, if X is an animal, then X is rational. So it is matching. Let's check the answer. So in this case, they must have given Px and Cx. They have taken Px and Cx. It doesn't matter. But our answer is matching. It depends on what is given here. Whatever in the question paper is given, you have to write it like that only. Okay. But otherwise, the answer is correct. X is an animal. X is rational. All doctors are kind. So again, all means when this type of question comes, then it becomes very simple. Otherwise, you have to if it has a substitute word instead of all, then it becomes a little complicated. But then if you know what are the substitute words, then it becomes easier. Okay, so they may give doctors dx, kind kx. Okay, so we write again dx and kx, and then we write where dx, x is a doctor and kx, x is kind, x are kind. Okay, x is a doctor, x are doctor, x are doctors, x are kind. Okay, so now we know we are using the universal quantifier. So then with the universal quantifier we use the implication sign. Okay, now let's read this. For all x, if x is a doctor, then it means x is kind. So all doctors are kind. So this is matching. Okay, so it's perfect. No scholars are ambitious. Okay, so they will give Sx and Ax. So we start writing where Sx, x is scholars, x are scholars. Okay, x are scholars, and Ax, x are ambitious. Okay, so now let's start the symbolization. So they are saying no. So no means immediately we know it's a very simple question. So we use universal quantifier Sx, dx, keep it separate, both of them. Just determine what symbol to use. So we know with universal quantifier we have to use the implication. Now let's read. For all x, if x is a scholar, if x are for all x, if x are scholars, then x are ambitious. So it's matching. So then we don't have to change anything. Okay, let's see. Okay, right. So it said no scholars. If they said all scholars are ambitious, then we did not need to change the sign here. But they're saying scholars are not ambitious. This is what it means. So not ambitious. We'll remember this next time. Okay. Scholars are not ambitious. Next. Okay. Many politicians are not punctual. So politicians px and punctual would be, let's say, tx. Let's take tx as punctual. Okay. Where px, x is a politician and px, x is punctual. You don't write not punctual, you write punctual, punctual. Okay, you write it in affirmative. But when we are solving it, we write px, tx, and then we negate this not punctual. Okay, because it's not punctual. So so not punctual. Now many does not mean all, it means some politicians are not punctual. So some politicians are not punctual. With the existential we have to use the and symbol conjunction. Okay, so let's read and see if it is matching. There exists an X such that if X is a politician, then X are not punctual. X is not punctual. Let's see if it matches. Correct. So basically for punctual they have taken NX. It doesn't matter. We have taken TX. Whatever they give you, we have to take that. So in the exam if it's given NX, so then we have to take NX. Alright, next let's take. Alright, so we are almost done with all of them. Summarized. So if you want more questions, I'll take up more questions later on, because I was also finding initially a little difficult to go through them, but now I've got the hang of it. So we'll solve more of this on a later video. Maybe later half of the day I'll give you more 15 to 20 of them to solve that, because there's also 3 marks. So with this I close this video here.